Someone is experiencing regret in regards to their karma, in regards to something that came to be, that was meant to be, and now they're finding there is some sort of a mirroring. Maybe the regret is something that either you or them experienced, and now the other person is going through that. We're going to see what's going on, where this karma is coming from, where the regrets are coming from, and what is being mirrored, dear. I already have the spread ready. I normally pick as we go, but today I felt we're going to try something different here and going to try and do it this way. Now, we have here the Hanged Man, the Well, which is a very specific card to this deck, in reverse, which speaks on the origin point, the cradle of life. Or kind of the well being, you know, from which all takes, from which life takes. All that is, you know, seeing the beauty in it, seeing the baseline of it, that it all comes from that. And I'm being called to look at the karma here again and looking at the regrets. And this card did come out in reverse, so it's almost like there's been a sacrifice, maybe regretting having sacrificed, or regretting not having sacrificed. But we have the Well, and we have the Hierophant, and we have the Ten of Swords as well on the same line. The Ten of Swords, there is a stabbing someone in the back. This is like proper betrayal, dear. There's a lot of pain that gets inflicted when this card pops up, whether in you or in someone else. But these are, you know, the swords are your mind. So these are sharp comments that can really hurt you. They're behavioral patterns. They're decisions made that cause pain, that cause destruction. And this card, though, this death was almost like a rebirth in a way. We had the Sacrifice card as well, but the Hierophant here is really showing, yeah, this was a rising anew. And look how the Hierophant, he reminds me, it looks like he's got wings around his head. These aren't wings though, this is like some cloth around his head, I think. But it's like he's flying, he's like grown his wings, he's flying away, he's found the connection to all that is. The Hierophant is the spiritual teacher. It is, yeah, finding people maybe in your surroundings, because the Hierophant is more of an external thing that you that are able to guide you, that you are able to trust, and that will hold. There we go. My brain just froze. Will hold a knife, or will hold a sword, or sword-looking thing, and yet not pierce you with it. But they will use the knowledge and their mind to help you to grow. And I think the karma here is really coming to play with, we got three major arcana cards with the Hanged Man, the Well, and the Hierophant. The major arcana speaks on bigger themes in your life, things that, you know, like motifs in a story that pull through and that you find repeating patterns in. The Hanged Man, the Sacrifice, the Well, the origin of all that is, and not being able to connect to it, not recognizing that. And the Hierophant, this teacher that you find that is able to help you stay aligned with your growth and your karma and where it's taking you. Because karma is this idea simply of action and reaction, you know. Things happen. If something happens, something else will happen. Action, reaction. And the karma is, you know, it's measuring these actions which seem unmeasurable. That's what karma is doing, or is what it speaks on. How you treat people, what's going on in your head, things that people from the external are not seeing. Oftentimes that is also involving the karma. So maybe if there is a situation in your mind where you find there were regrets, there was something where you sacrificed a lot, and you feel regretful over it because you find that you weren't able to connect to all that is, or that you didn't sacrifice and because you were too scared to connect to all that is and to truly embrace the Well, to truly embrace the world. This actually comes after the world, this card being very specific to this deck and normally not part of the tarot. The world is normally the end, you know. You are the world, you reach the point of unity, you understand unity. You start as a fool, you start as the individual, separate to life, and yet feeling so trusting of all that is, because you do somehow You know from within, subconsciously, that you are one. Like a little kid trusts, unless they are taught otherwise. And that's what happens in life. We then are brought into the material, and there's stuff that makes us lose that trust, lose the connection, lose this understanding of unity. And there's tears here on the regret card, crying about it. Maybe finding that this pain is also from a place of holding on to whatever belief system that you have that is keeping you stuck, right? The hanged man. Maybe you think you're sacrificing when you're not, when you're simply sacrificing your time on this plane for everyone or anything else. Who knows? Rather than going after your things. Maybe this is a message of advice and of caution. Don't be regretful. Don't be regretful when life comes to an end. And when this life comes to an end, how are you going to deal with it? How are you going to look back at it? Are you going to be proud of yourself? Are you going to be happy? That is the most important, with what you did in this life and how you leave it behind. And trust that whatever growth you are going through, you are doing, even if it is not mirrored in a person, if this is someone else whose regrets are coming up and who's finding maybe if someone did you wrong, let me put it this way, if this is something that someone stabbed you in the back, then there might be a mirroring happening. There might be something in their life that now they are feeling this emotion as well, for things to balance out, for karma to balance the scales, right? And this could be happening as well. And even if it's not something that you are able to see, maybe it is an internal thing. Maybe it's the karma that we don't see. What's going on with them at night when they're alone. Maybe that's when these regrets come up. Who knows? I very subconsciously turned the well around as we were speaking. The well, the origin point that you can connect. And we have someone here holding a pentacle. A pentacle being a very simple tool to connect to all that is and to your intuition, to if you find you don't feel this connection, right? When it is in reverse, to have tools in your life that you recognize as such tools. There is no magic that is not already existing, okay? You cannot bring things to be, but what you can do is reveal them. You can reveal them. And the pentacles can help you. The pentacle was actually the very first thing that I got myself at like 12 years old to start divination. To start doing internal work, really. It was about seeing, okay, what comes up, and then figuring out what that means. And it takes a long time, to do that, but it's the continuous practice that gets you to a place where you are more aligned, where you feel more connected, and where you feel the connection so strongly on your day-to-day basis because you're just used to it, you're used to it. And for your advice, we have the Eight of Stones, the Exemplar of Arrows, and the Exemplar of the Pipes. So the arrows are the swords and the pipes are the wands. So we have here both the kings of both suits. So someone who has mastered the mind and mastered the passion, the energy, the plasma. If we have the four elements, the mind is the air, it's the gas, and then if we have the states of matter, and then the pipes, the wands, the fire is the plasma. So it's kind of like knowing where to direct, making choices, using the mind, the decisions to make choices that allow you to pour your energy into places that make you feel like this, that where you end up being the king of your own castle. King of the castle, king of the castle. But what I mean with this is the master of your own creation, right? You create, you are this artist in this world. You can make your life whatever you want. It's your canvas, my dear. It is your canvas. And you are allowed to step into this role of seeing it as such, of making choices that allow you to get to this place as well, maybe. Here we have the depiction of someone being able to teach the next generation, right? Being able to share their wisdom, an elder in a community. In the West, we kind of forgot about this whole thing of like how elders have lived a long life and they have stuff that we can learn from, as much as they also have stuff that we can learn from by dismantling it and saying, yeah, I think you're kind of stuck there. And that's how we grow. Science and growth of a society is always a rebellion. It's always about overthrowing a status quo, not by completely disregarding it, because then oftentimes you have a back and forth between two extremes, but kind of understanding, what can I learn from a situation, what can I take from a situation, and what do I have to change to have the best adapted creature thing for the next stage. That is evolution, that is creation. The 8 of Stones here as well. We have really mastering the material as well. This is so funny. So it's kind of like, okay, if you are right now in a situation in time where you are trying to master something, you're trying to get over this, or you're trying to, in the material world, achieve something, because the 8 of Stones, the stones are the material world, right? This is a matter of mastering the bigger themes in your life, dear. It is not solemnly, if you want to have outcomes in your external, you need to go internal. You need to go into the bigger themes, even though these aren't major arcana, but they are examples of what you can be. Literally in this deck called an exemplar. So reaching a level of mental maturity and creative maturity. Creative maturity, passion, alignment from thoughts and actions. And look at that. When we're talking about karma and this idea of action, reaction, if you align your thoughts with your action, are you not controlling your life in a way where you are then consciously working with your karma? What am I saying here? It's kind of like understanding the subtler currents to help yourself work with them. If you're a surfer, for example, if you go into the water, and I mean, I don't surf, but you have to kind of understand the currents, and the better you know a place, the more you will understand its currents, and the subtler ones, the ones that aren't as obvious as the clear ebb and flow of things. And getting into that, into the mechanics of it, and seeing these karmic change. So you are chains. Interesting. I was going to say chains, CHAAINS, and it came out, it sounded like change. So changing the chain reaction. Say that 3 times. Changing the chain reaction by changing the way you engage with your energy, your power, and your mind, dear. All right, this is going to be your message. Thank you so much. If you're interested in a personal reading, you can obviously reach out. I do both videos and one-on-one calls. And if you don't, that's all good. But maybe you want to subscribe or like it to help me support this channel and help me grow this community and get my work towards more people. I really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. And I hope to see you here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.